Hello, my name is Helen. I'm going to take you through a full body workout. It is body weight only, so zero equipment needed. You just need yourself. We'll be starting with a warm up and finishing with a cool down. Make sure you don't miss that out. Preparing your body and then recovering post workout is just as important as the workout, so let's do the whole thing. Now, throughout this workout, throughout any workout that you do, you want to make sure you're working within your range, your capabilities, your limitations. So if you feel pain at any point, stop. Don't push through pain. You can push through discomfort. That's like burning and fatigue and maybe a little shaking, but not pain. And if you ever find there's an exercise you absolutely can't do, I'll always offer regressions, but you can always switch out for something else. So let's come down to the floor for our warm up. Come to all fours, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, cat and cow. It's going to arch your back and round your back. So feeling that and warming up through the spine. So particularly if you have a job that involves you either sitting or standing all day, so one where your spine's in one position, it's really good to just move the back. Alternating thread the needle. Take your knees a bit wider, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, thread under the left armpit, and then land the hands, switch sides. You're trying to keep your hips relatively stable and feeling that rotation through your spine. Now, the first time through when we do any exercise, we're not aiming to get depth or range, we're just like to warm the body a little bit. Scoot your knees under the hips again, take your hands wider than your shoulders, and then bend your elbows, push back up. So you can modify push up either in box, or you can walk your hands a bit further forward, bring your hips further forward, and do modified push ups on your knees. Don't go to toes just yet. Again, it's just a warm up. Perfect. Push into the hands, bring them a bit more narrow, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward dog, and paddle up the feet. So push one heel towards the floor and the other. Round one when our muscles and our joints aren't prepared. It's moving the body, not necessarily getting into our deepest range. You can do that in round two. And then stand all the way up for squats. Take feet wider than hips. Hips drop back and down and stand up. So it's the knees are bending and the hips are also bending. Your chest will just ever so slightly tip forward, almost like you're going to sit down in a chair. Perfect. Alternating backward lunges, lunge back, step in, switch legs, step in. Feet stay hip distance. And again, at the moment, my range isn't brilliant. I'm not dropping my knees super close to the floor because, again, I'm not fully warm. As we go through, you might be able to get a little bit deeper and deeper. Perfect. Lateral lunges. So take your feet out really wide. Bend one knee, push your hips back, switch legs. Your chest should tip forwards as you push your bum back, and you should be feeling a little stretch in your inner thighs. So lots of people find themselves just bending the knee, but do push your bum back as well. Alternating curtsy squats. One leg goes now behind the other, like you're going to do a curtsy, and then switch legs. More nearly fell over there. You're loading your front leg here, so again, lean forward into it. And again, my knee isn't dropping too close to the floor yet, but I am feeling my body getting warmer. Alternating forward lunges, step forward, and my breathing is starting to get a little heavier. And I'm hoping you feel the same thing. So we're stepping forward, dropping the back knee towards the floor and pushing back up. If it's too much, a little step, this is still a forward lunge, even if you don't get much knee bend. We're going to repeat all that again. Round two, the focus is maybe starting to increase our range of motion. So coming down to the floor for cat and cows. Can you feel as your breathing come a little bit heavier? Hoping your body's feeling a little bit warmer. I'm hoping by the end of the warm up I'll get my fleece off. Maybe my socks, but my feet are apparently cold at the moment. And then take your knees wider to help stabilize your hips. Alternating thread the needle. Maybe you can turn your chest more. Maybe you can reach a bit further. Again, don't force anything. Nice. Bring your knees back under the hips, take your hands wider, stay in box or walk your hands forward. But you're dropping your chest. Maybe take a little bit longer this time. Maybe I think just a tiny pause at the bottom to see if you can really start to feel the opening of your chest. Just check that the hips haven't sagged, the back's not arched. Tucking the toes under, paddle out your feet in downward dog. Perfect. Coming up to standing squats. So this time you're sitting as if you're sitting down in a chair. Just picture the chairs a little bit lower. So you're trying to sit a little bit deeper. Eventual target is trying to get your bum roughly in line with your knees, your thighs roughly parallel to the ground. And again, work your way there gradually. Alternating backward lunges, lunge back, drop your knee towards the floor, step in and switch legs. So this time you're trying to get your knee a little bit closer to the floor. You might even find eventually it can tap onto the floor. And if you're getting there, just make sure it's a really gentle graze rather than a smashing of your kneecap. Perfect. Lateral lunges. You can stick with your feet wide and shift side to side, or add a step where you step out to the side, step in and switch sides. The further you go, the more stretch you're going to feel and the harder it is going to be to get back up. We do have all these movements in our workout, by the way. I need to have a sip. Alternating curtsy squats. Curtsy, one leg is behind, the knee drops towards the floor. And again, you're leaning forward into the front leg. And I'm starting to try and get my knee a bit closer to the floor. So the bum's pushing further back and the knees dropping down, both. Alternating forward lunges, lunge forward. Whoops. Push back up, switch legs. You're going to try and keep your hips above your shoulders above your hips, above your knees. So try and avoid your hips coming out to the side or your knees collapsing in towards the middle. This is what I see a lot. So you're trying to keep it level and level. Nice, have a little shake off. I'm going to have a sip. Whoosh, be warm. Every exercise is going to be a minute. We're going to do 3 rounds of the same thing. It's just that I'm going to give you the option to make it a little bit harder and some of them each round through. So for right leg, it doesn't actually matter which leg you're going to do. You're doing 1 reverse lunge, 1 curtsy squat. So one leg goes behind, tap in, and then behind. So one goes straight back and then angled back. And I'll show it from the side. Straight back and then behind. Do you notice how my shape is the same, where I kind of push my bum back and chest is tipping forward? So I'm not like this, but upright, and not feeling the pressure in my moving leg, but instead I'm leaning into my front leg. That's the target. I want to feel that leg. It's going to be quad and bum, and then if we go in the curtsy, quad and side bum, and back bum, back bum. Now this is one, if you struggle with things with your knees, you might prefer to go for the tap back and a tap across to the side. So it's a tap back and a tap across the side. That is your option if you have knee pain. If not, you're trying to get as much depth as you can, maybe even tapping the knees to the floor. Have a little shake. All we do is switch legs. So this time, other leg goes back, whoosh, and then to the side. Whee! I fell again. Back and side. See how one leg feels compared to the other leg. And also notice how I'm not rushing out the reps into, I'm not like back in, out in, back in, out in. I'm trying to get it so that I can really feel the strength in my legs that's lowering me down and standing me up. I'm not in a rush. And by slowing it down, it's where I get to really find out how deep I can go. When you go really fast, sometimes you don't find your full depth. But you do sometimes get more of a cardio kick. So maybe that's what you like. Ooh, I think I can even get my socks off soon. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. Perfect. Can we do a staggered push-up? So push-up, try the toes if you can. We go halfway, we stop. 2, 3, 4 to the bottom, stop. Halfway, stop to the top. So let's go. Brace your belly, go halfway, stop. 2, 3, 4 to the bottom. 2, 3, 4, halfway up. 3, 4, and to the top. 2, 3, 4. Repeat. Now, of course, you can do this on your knees if you need less. So if your knees, same thing. Halfway pause. Bottom and pause. Halfway pause. top and pause. Same deal. If you need less, like in the warm-up, you can bring your knees in closer to your own box. Exact same thing. We're all loading our weight forward. It's working the same muscle regardless, just hopefully working to the level that you're at where you feel challenged. Now, if you're in between being on the toes and on the knees, you can lower from your toes like this, lower halfway, stop, to the bottom and stop. Put the knees down to push up halfway, and to the top and stop. So that's a way to do in-betweeny. Perfect. Jump up. One forward lunge, one lateral lunge. Forward lunge, lateral lunge. We step forward and then out to the side. Forward, same leg. Out to the side, same leg. Yes. So remember what I said about in the warm-up, if you're needing less, it's a smaller step forward and a smaller step to the side. Smaller step, smaller step. This way, again, if you are still working the exact same muscles, you should be feeling a much bigger quad focus here, and then we work quad and the side of the leg, side of the bum here to push back up. However, if you can, you see how close you can get your knees to the floor, how wide you can go. And the lateral lunge, again, it's not just your knee bending. You shouldn't be upright like this. You push your bum back. So it's kind of like a single leg squat. You look like a squat. Your bum's pushing back, your chest is tipping forward. That's what's really going to get the side of the body. Can I do one more in the time? Probably could have. Skived it. So we switch legs, have a little shake, shake and shake. Same thing, other side. Let's see how it compares. Other leg lunges forward, big push, to the side, big push, forward, push, side, push. Seeing how one leg compares to the other leg. Maybe you're fairly even. We do tend to, not have to, we do tend to have one side a little bit stronger and more dominant. And just checking again that we're not going into a sexy lunge, the hips haven't jutted down and the knees coming in. We're not like, everything neutral, hip distance is stacked. Ba-dum. Da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Got one more exercise after this, and then a break. Yeah, so we're done. Shake. We're going to come to a bear course. We're going to squat down, walk to plank, 10 mountain climbers, walk back into high knees. So squat, walk hands forward, shoulders over wrist, pull your knees to your chest. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm back in plank with feet wider than hips to walk back into a squat. Stand up, high knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do it again. Squat, walk forward. If you need a bit less, instead of running, you can step it out, or even one knee down, pull one knee in, pull the other knee in, and maybe just do 4 instead of 10. And then again, we're walking back into the squat. Coming up, option again is to step it out instead of running out if you need low impact. But if you're there, possibly reduce the number of the reps, but really try and get some height in your knees. What I'm hoping is this is a nice pulse raiser. You should be starting to feel puffed out, getting a bit of a cardio kick. Bam, 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 bam. Really wanted to finish that. Have a little shake off. Well done. Round 1 of 3 done. So you've got the potential to just do the exact same thing again with 0 changes. However, if you are up for the challenge, I challenge you to add a 2-second pause in each of the legs. So what I mean by that, the reverse lunge, we're going to lunge back and stop for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in. We curtsy squat, down, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in. Okay, so more tension at the bottom. That is a choice that you can choose to do or not do. Let's go. Reverse lunge. Stop, then count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in. curtsy, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in, lunge, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I love the Mississippi counting. The Mississippi counting means even if you're like super, super fast, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, it means you're still there for a long time. Unlike when people go 1, 2, that's fast, right? So yeah, 1, 2. What I challenge you to do though is start the count once you've stopped moving. So instead of going, some people like to go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, but I want you to go land to the bottom, freeze, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in, land, get still, then 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, in. Again, that is more challenging. So if you need to do the other way, do. If you think you need to, try my way, and then you can always go back to your way, but always give it a whirl if you think it's possibly in reach. A little shake up. I didn't have a sip, so I'm gonna have a quick sip now. We're just switching legs. I got a tickle. Yeah, another leg. Lunge stop. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pow, behind. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pow. And that pause you can really use to make sure you feel your front leg. So if you're really feeling massive burn in the back leg, lean forward a bit more, push your bum back a bit more, and really stamp your foot into the ground. So in both positions, bum is back, knee is down, and you're leaning into the leg. Pow! I've done way longer than 2 seconds there. But again, use that pause. Feel the burning sensation start to build up a little bit, accumulate a little bit. Pow! And it's a small thing. I'm saying pow at the top. It's I'm really trying to bring my hips underneath me. So I've gone from that stretch position to that extended position rather than just leaving it here to get that full extension through hips. Stagger push-ups. These are punchy, right? No change. Halfway down, stop, 2, 3, 4. All the way down, stop, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And you can do it like that kind of pace, 2, 3, 4, rather than Mississippis. Very strong. Halfway down, stop. All the way down, stop. Halfway up, stop. All the way up, stop. Now the biggest thing I see in this one is from the bottom to the top, it doesn't look like a plank anymore. So what I mean by that is people get to the bottom, we're going to demonstrate this on my knees, but you get to the bottom and then people go, oh, kind of like an up dog in yoga. So the hips drop, the chest is lifting, and then we lift our hips off. So you're attempting to really try and lift as one unit. So I would prefer you to aggress and be an easier option and nail the technique than go in a higher option and be worming all over the shop. So I just gave myself that full break of just describing as well. Well done, jump up. Sweaty. Forward lunge, lateral lunge with a 2-second pause in both. So we lunge forward. I pause 1, hey, Mississippi, 2, Mississippi, big powerful push. Out to the side, pause, 1, Mississippi, 2, Mississippi, powerful push. Forward, pause it once you're still, big push up. To the side, pause once still. And then we're using this bent leg to propel ourselves upwards rather than using this straight leg to drag ourselves in. So that's the thing I really commonly see is people start to bend this leg and kind of squat themselves up like that. So it ends up being like this. So you really want to be out to the side, pause, and then push away. I just made myself nearly fall over there. I don't know why I turned to the side, but I have now. So I'll commit to just demonstrating from the side. Get pausals. Really need to have that oomph. That power, little shake, little shake, little shake. Do you feel the difference if you're trying that when you have that little extra time at the bottom of the range? It should feel more burning, switching legs, more burning, build up more pressure. And then also it should feel a bit harder to push back up, which is why you really need to give it some oomph. Now I've just said about the lateral lunge, making sure when you push, you're using this leg, push yourself up. In the forward lunge, again, try and use your legs. So what lots of people end up doing is with their upper body. So they're here, they're in the lunge, and they just pull, like kind of throw their upper body back to help create some momentum to push back up. But instead, I'm going to keep that leaning forward position, push the ground away. So much power pushing the ground away. I'm going to reiterate the fact that it's absolutely okay to do a small step with a little pause, a small step with a little pause, and it's also okay to not have the pause if this is where you're at. So yes, I'm encouraging you to work harder if you're able, but don't want you to push past your limits. Not everyone should finish this feeling challenged, but not defeated. That's the goal. Back wall 10 climbers, back wall 10 knees. Squat down, walk forward to plank. Make sure the shoulders over the wrist, then pull the knees between the hands. Once you've done 10, make sure your feet become wider than your hips again so you can squat back. You'll struggle if your feet are together, and then run it out, whatever you are, as much height as you can. In your mountain climbers, if you ever find your feet are sliding back behind you, you probably then start looking more at your feet, and then your hips are going to go up higher and higher, and you start pushing back, and you slide more. So I want to make sure your eyes are looking to the floor just in front of you, and you should really feel your weight loading over your hands and shoulders. Your shoulders should be burning quite a lot in this position. If they're not burning, it's because you push back away. So keep the weight forward and think pull rather than push. Widen the hips to go. And relax. Have a little shake. Have a little break. Wouldn't have felt that. So, as I said, the legs are going to always have like a little extra challenge each round, should you choose to accept it. So challenge 1, we added 2-second pulses. Nope, 2-second pauses. And now we're going to add on 2 pulses. So, for example, the reverse lunge, we're going to lunge, pause 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, then pulse twice. Go 1, 2, then in. Curtsy squat, pause, wait, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pulse, 1, 2, stand up. You ready? Let's go. Lunge. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pulse, 1 and 2. Rise up. Other side. Pause your weight. By other side, I mean did curtsy instead of lunge. 2 and 1. Up and back. Notice the pace of my pulses as well and the range. So lots of people, when they get to the pulse, they go really small and really fast like this. Bing, bing. It's like a tiny little vibration, but I want you to come up about, a quarter of the way before you go back down again. So you're here, and it's quite slow. We go up a bit, down a bit, up, and then all the way. So we're not rushing it. You felt what it feels like when we slow it down, right? You've slowed it, you had pause, you have time at the bottom. It is tough. So we also then don't want to just rush out of this extra bit. We want to add extra time, extra tension, feel where it changes where you are on your leg to then come out. And shake off. Other side, same option, you can still do reverse curtsy with no pauses, no pulses. If not with me, pause, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, oops, pause 1 and 2, and in. I nearly forgot the pulses. Other pause, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 1, 2, and in, down, freeze, check you've not gone wonky, stamp the front foot in, and then slow and controlled, but decided pulse. We pause, feel the weight of the front leg, and then 1 and 2. I should probably have got this a little lower actually. Now I think about it. That's probably going to show my feet. Bum, ba, da, bum, bum. Pow. Pause it long as you can. Take your time. Really milk it. Really milk it. And what I'm really happy with this one, I actually did this workout in my circuits class the other week. And Jess was there. Hi, Jess, if you're repeating again. Little shake. She hardly ever feels her bum, and she did after this one. Yes. And so did Ali. So it really does a lot of butt work. Staggered push-up. Find your brace. Make sure the hips are below shoulder height to start with. We're going to lift them up. Tuck your pelvis under. Whoosh. Halfway and stop. to the bottom and stop. Halfway up, stop. To the top and stop. And at the top, try and stay loaded. Try not to push back if you can. If you need the break or you need the child's pose, take it. But if you can, maintain a plank. Oh, it's so tough. You should find your arms are shaking. And a big one that I needed to do myself there was hold my breath. Try not to hold your breath. Once you're in the position, hold it, pause, take a full breath in. Go down to the bottom, pause, take a full breath out. Pause, breathe in. Do you know what I mean? Like, so keep breathing, don't hold your breath. It's going to become more of a struggle. Oh, shit. Come on. Well done. I only did a few each time of them, and it was still so hard, I was still shaking. So good if you push through the whole thing. Forward lunge with a pause. Forward pausing, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi pulse for 1, and 2 powerful push back up to the side, pause, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi pulse by going back, or like in. So forward, pausing, little pulse, try and tap your knee down to the floor, think of an extra pulse there. And here, because the motion again is going back to the side, that's what the motion is in the half. You push a bit, back down, push a bit, back down, and then oomph. Your knee, final round. How close can you get it to the floor without resting on the floor? Can you get that little tap? And how wide can you go? How low can you drop your hips? Whoosh. So it becomes a little bit harder to oomph yourself back up. Your legs are big muscles, so it's good to train them to give a little bit of oomph. Yes, perfect. Let's just switch legs. I didn't take my socks off ever. Will I now? Nah. Other leg forward. Little pulse, little pulse. And I say pulse. Sometimes I think if people have done a lot of Pilates or bar, that's where they tend to say teeny tiny movements. And sometimes I say that as well. It kind of depends on the move. So in this one, I really want you to feel the difference when we make it just a touch bigger. So you're not coming out all the way up for a full release. We're still bent and loaded, just really feeling strength in different areas of the leg. I've stopped counting 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, by the way, because I was talking. So there's a decent chance I've just sped right up. Feel free to try and go slower than me. And you have that little humble brag. Oh, I did slower than you. Yes. Bam, bam, bam. Perfect. We're finishing with those 10 bear crawls, 10 climbers. So we're going to take the weight forward, see how far our knees can travel, whether it's underneath us or up above us. Then we're done. 1 minute done. Ready? Bear crawl forward. Climbing. Keep your weight forward. Take your feet hip distance so you can walk back, stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. Forward. I'm laughing because I had a pint of water before this and a coffee, decaf. No judgment on decaf, by the way, I just can't have it. And my stomach was sloshing there, like whoop, 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 grim. Slosh, slosh, slosh. Still the option to step out, you just give oomph. You just give oomph. Probably got time for 1 more. Slosh, 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 slosh. How to finish off. Have a little shake. Well done. Do not stop or turn it off now. You've come so far. And what I'm hoping is you're puffed out. So we're going to use the cool down to not only stretch and re-lengthen the muscles, but also can help calm the breathing, come closer to resting. And every workout is stress on the body. So the cool down we use to help reset and come back to, I want to use the word homeostasis, I think I use this every other day. I don't know if that's right. So we're going to stretch the chest. You can either take your hands up, pull them wide and pull the hands back, or you might prefer to bring the hands on the lower back, roll back the shoulders and then try and pull the head of the shoulders back, or lace the fingers behind, whatever feels best, and breathe. So what, it's 2.5 minutes, I'm done. You can do anything for 2.5 minutes, especially when it's the easy part. Now we hold each stretch for at least 30 seconds because when you first go into a stretch, your body naturally resists the stretch. It's like, whoa, because it's protecting your body. And then when you hold it long enough, it realizes you're in a safe place you can hold. So it lets go. Stretch your quads, heel to bum. Take one foot, pull it in towards the butt. Tuck your pelvis under so you feel the stretch down the thigh and the hip. Please hold on to something if you're wobbling, because while I would love everyone to work on their balance, when we're focusing on stretching, the focus is stretching. I'm absolutely melting. Switch legs. We are currently in winter at the point of filming this. And every time, you know when you're not moving, and it's cold, and you think, God, I'm so cold. How will I ever warm up? Turns out when you move your body, it really warms. That is why, by the way, if you were doing this in a hotter environment, you probably would have to regress the pace of things like that final bursting, like a pulse raiser, because you might be just dying of hot. Stretch your bum. You can either balance, cross the ankle either below or above the knee, and then take your hips back. Again, hold on something if you need. If you prefer to do this on the floor, you can do this lying on your back, pigeon or swan pose, 90-90 pose, good hurdler, anything. Oh, I lost it. Anything that gives you good stretch in the bum. But the more you push your bum back here, the more stretch you're going to feel it in the leg that's crossed over. Perfect. Switch your legs. And that is it. That's all we're going to do. The other bums, you've got to stay now, otherwise you'll be wonky. To be fair, if you're here, you would stay, right? If you're gone, you're gone all now. Gone already. Gone all now. Ramble. Thank you so much for joining me in the workout. I would love to know if you've really felt this in your bum the next day. And maybe all over. Have a little shake up. Give yourself a big pat on the back or a round of applause. Always give yourself the praise you deserve for having done it. It's really tough to get started, let alone then complete. So seriously, well done. If you've got any questions or feedback or get updates on how you found the workout, I'd love to hear. Just drop me a message or write in the comments. And hopefully I didn't say that too fast. Hopefully see you soon. Thank you so much for training with me.